Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to J Wall Sports. We are back here with another episode.
Another. Hey, Pistol, wide receiver. Hit my line. Hit my line.
What is up with you in this? When you bench your seasoned veteran quarterback this late in the season, it's sending a message to the team.
Dan goes out, and now they want to play with some heart. They want to play with some effort.
I see why Doc got fired. If you're not going to make the adjustments of the coach, you need to go up and get up out of here.
Wentz has regressed, and it's a mental.
Disclaimer. He might have some outrageous, Max Kellerman type, things to say today. I don't know what he's going to say, but the way he's starting off his video is giving me them vibes. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of J Wall Sports. We are live here on the Color Cast. It's 12 afternoon, top of the afternoon. I'm here with my co-host Nyshawn Anderson. Nyshawn, how you doing?
What's up, my guy? What's up with you? I'm good.
Hey, man. I'm feeling really good right now because week 5, I feel like I made a comeback. I feel like I did a little something, and right now we can't call it a comeback yet, but it's a diamond in the rough right now. That's what I am. I'm a diamond in the rough because I tied you this week. I ain't take no L. At least I didn't take 4 L's in a row. I already felt bad taking 1 L in a row. I felt sick taking 2 L's in a row. 3 L's in a row. I was down. I was almost on my deathbed. 4, you would have heard the beep over the flat line. But yeah, so week 5, I made a little comeback thanks to Lamar Jackson and the Ravens making a 16-point comeback. And I tied up with Nyshawn this week, week 6. Don't know how that's going to go. It's a lot of very interesting games. We're going to get into some of that, you guys. But first,
I just want to say the only reason you tied because, for people that don't know, we give our predictions and you see side by side. He kind of piggybacked off my picks. That's all I want to say.
It's crazy. I do my picks before I even look at your picks. When you send when you send your text, I just like it to let you know that you got it, but I don't look at your prediction, so it won't skew what I'm gonna say. So I do my predictions on the graphic first, then I look at your message, and then I do your prediction.
Yeah, if it wasn't for the coach folding, you would have had 4 L's.
Oh yeah, I would have took 4 L's. Thank you, Carson Wentz for folding. Thank you, Lamar Jackson, for being Lamar Jackson and doing your thing. You gonna cry about it?
Yeah, man, I ain't supposed to be dead. Flatline, no return right now.
Wow. All right. That's crazy. So going on to our next topic, Monday night, Jon Gruden resigned as the Las Vegas Raiders head coach after a series of emails revealed that Gruden used racist, misogynistic, and homophobic language dating back to 2011. Less than 24 hours after the news, the Buccaneers announced that they were removing Gruden from the Ring of Honor. Gruden led the Buccaneers to their first NFL championship in 2002. Now, Sean, how will the Jon Gruden controversy impact his legacy?
Oh man, his legacy is basically gone. It's gonna be he really can't come back from this. Like you just said, the Bucs took him out of the Ring of Honor. A couple former players have come out and talked about how he really is, or behind the cameras when the cameras aren't there. It's going to be extremely hard for him to find another job anywhere. And with the way social media is right now, this kind of thing is going to sit with him forever. So I think he's done. He can't come back from this.
Right. I completely agree with you. And the first thing that I thought about when this news broke is I want to sit back. I want the emails, first of all. I want the emails to come out because I want to see exactly what he said. because some of the things that people have, paraphrased or quoted him from the emails, it wasn't so bad to the point where I was like, oh, he should be fired. Or he should be, fired, resign. When he talked to his GM, GM said, you can either resign or I can fire you. Like, either way, but pretty much you're not going to be part of the organization anymore. I feel that's how that conversation went between the two. But I think they have the actual email, so they know what was said verbatimly, and they know when those emails come out, it was going to look even worse. So that's why I think Gruden resigned, because what we've seen so far, I didn't think it was enough to warrant him to resign. But when I first heard the news, and I thought about dating back to our days at Winston-Salem State University, which is our alma mater, they always told it, it's not about how you start, it's about how you finish. And the same thing is going to be applied to John Gruden in this situation right now. It's not about how John Gruden started. It's not about his accomplishments in the middle. It's about how John Gruden finished. And the way John Gruden finished is his character was shot. His manhood was shot, because as a man in this world, all you have is your word. And so if we can't even trust his word, because, so many people came up to him like, man, I worked with John Gruden for X amount of years, and he wasn't that kind of person. He wouldn't, do these kinds of things. But then came out, this wasn't just one email. This was 7 years. Out of 650,000 emails, there were 7 years worth of John Gruden saying these things. And so I don't think he can bounce back from that. And everybody wants the emails to be released. So when the emails are released and we can see what everybody's saying, what John Gruden actually said, I think is going to end up worse.
Yeah, man. The Raiders quarterback Derek Carr said, "Love the man, but hate the sin." So it's hard to see. But moving on to our next topic, one of the craziest games in Week 5, the Packers versus the Bengals. One of the craziest games I ever seen was between the Packers and the Bengals, between Mason Crosby and Evan McPherson. There were 5 missed field goals, and Crosby ended up hitting the game-winning field goal from 49 yards. Joe Burrow and Aaron Rodgers put on the show, totaling up 625 passing yards, 4 touchdowns, and completing 68% of their passes. Lamar, who had the better game, Aaron Rodgers or Joe Brady? Joe Burrow.
Oh, man. This was so close. And I honestly, looking at it, I gotta go with Aaron Rodgers, man. And I gotta go with Aaron Rodgers because he put his team in position to kick the game-winning field goal 4 different times compared to 2 times that Joe Burrow did that. And Aaron Rodgers did this within the last 3 minutes and 30 seconds of the 4th quarter and overtime. So he put his team in places to win the game, and his kicker just folded. I mean, when you look at that stat-wise, they are side by side. Completion percentage for Aaron Rodgers 69%, Joe Burrow 68%. Aaron Rodgers had 344 total yards. Joe Burrow had 281. They both had 2 touchdowns. Aaron Rodgers threw 8 interceptions. Joe Burrow threw 2 interceptions. QBR for Aaron Rodgers was 68.6. Joe Burrow was 53.7. Passer rating for Aaron Rodgers was 103, and Joe Burrow had an 85.5 passer rating. So, I mean, there are some statistics in there that are, skewed higher than the other, towards Aaron Rodgers or towards Joe Burrow. But at the end, man, I had to come down and give the good old eye test. And the eye test told me, Rodgers put his team in position to win the game more times than Joe Burrow did.
I have to disagree with you, man. Even though, like I said, just got double checked over the reigning MVP again. But I'm going to have to go with Joe Burrow, man, because you said the eye test. Aaron Rodgers always going to pass the eye test.
And did he pass the eye check on week 1 against the Saints?
But you said earlier in a couple episodes, that could have been a fluke. Depends on how he plays the rest of the season. And so far, he's played really well the rest
You're
of the
right,
season.
but he's not going to pass the eye test every time. Was my point, though.
He has a high percentage to pass the eye test.
Okay, yeah, I can take that.
But Joe Burrow went toe to toe with Aaron Rodgers, and coming, missing like half your rookie year with the knee injury, a terrible injury, and coming back this season, he's looked really good. And for him to go toe to toe with Aaron Rodgers and put his team in position to win a game not once but twice, and given that the Packers are missing Jair Alexander, he's out for the rest of the season. I was kind of expecting a good game from Joe Burrow, and he delivered. Now, they were down 10 points and came back. They're tied up, and it was back and forth between then and that fourth quarter. And he played really well, and the defense has stepped up a lot. The defense ranked 11th in the league right now, and he has weapons on offense. He's spreading that ball around, and Jamar Chase is his favorite target. That chemistry from college has definitely carried over to the NFL, and he looks good. So I'm going to have to give it to Joe Burrow, and Aaron Rodgers gave him props after the game.
Right. I mean, but just because, Joe Burrow's second year, I understand, he went toe-to-toe with Aaron Rodgers. Doesn't mean he had the better performance than Aaron Rodgers, though.
Amen. I'm confident in my pick.
Okay.
Straight like that.
All right. Moving on. We're going to go to some NBA talk. The NBA is coming back, and they'll be back in a few weeks, but one of the favorites, the Brooklyn Nets, they will be out. They will be without Kyrie Irving, as GM Sean Marks announced this week that Kyrie will not play or participate with the team until he can become a full participant. Last night, Kyrie went live to explain his stance, and this is what he had to say.
It's not about being anti-vax or about being, on one side or the other. Like, it's just really about being true to what feels good for me. I'm still uncertain about a lot of things, and that's okay. If I'm going to be demonized for having more questions and taking my time to make a decision with my life, then that's just what it is. That's something I got to sit in. I know the consequences of the decisions I make with my life. I'm not here to sugarcoat any of that.
Kyrie also stated that he is not retiring and that he is not leaving the game like this because there is so much more work to do and many more youngins to inspire. Now, Sean, if you were the Nets organization, if you were GM Sean Marks, what would you do with Kyrie?
What they already did. I mean, this isn't the NFL where, you get game checks. Most of that money is guaranteed for these NBA players, and they have without your star point guard playing, that changes the whole dynamic of the team and the offense and how things flow for this Nets organization. I mean, his close friend KD is trying to keep things mellow from the media, saying, oh, he might get vaccinated, kind of keeping it on it low until he went on live the other day. So, I mean, he says he's not retiring, but you're not doing the things you need to do to get on the court. So I just don't know at the moment. But if he said he's going to play, he still got some juice in him, and I don't know why he's waiting so long to get vaccinated.
Right. I mean, well, before we get started, I just want to say me and Sean both feel the same way that, everyone has their right of their own choice and their opinion on the vaccine. And in no way during this time are we trying to say that Kyrie should or should not get vaccinated. But to go ahead and go into my point, I'm a big Kyrie fan. Kyrie went to Duke. I'm a Duke fan. Kyrie went to Cleveland. He played with LeBron. I'm a LeBron fan. So I got love for Kyrie. But the stuff with Kyrie is starting to get a little old. And what I mean is, 2019, he didn't want to go into the bubble. Social justice was a bigger issue for him, and I not completely agree with that, 100%. 2020, didn't really play a lot because of injuries, and now 2021, you're not gonna be there once again because you want to be a voice for the people who are getting fired from their jobs, and in totality, it makes it's a good idea. And the whole, you're coming from a good place, and I understand that, but you have the ability to do that because you got some M's in your bank account. I mean, it's not like exactly like it's not like me or Nyshawn. We can go to our jobs tomorrow and be like, "Hey, yo, I ain't getting vaccinated, so you can fire me." No, like we don't. If I don't get this next paycheck, I don't know how I'm gonna pay. You know, I'm saved up enough, but for a while, I'm gonna be worried about how am I gonna pay the rent? How am I gonna pay insurance, phone bills? Basic necessities. How I'm gonna eat? Like that's some of the things that like Kyrie is distant away from. The common people, just because of his status and what his occupation is. Now, if I were the next organization, I would feel this way. If I was GM Sean Marks, I would completely feel this way. I'd be tired of it because each year is something new with Kyrie. And at this point, you got two options with me. You can either get the vaccine or you can get traded. And it's not, and I understand, it's your choice. And then it's going to be my choice to trade you because I need somebody that's going to be here for the entire season. I don't need somebody who's going to be here for some of the home games, or I mean, not some of the, but some of the away games, because at the end of the day, and when playoff times come, he could potentially not play an entire series. If the Knicks play, if the Nets and the Knicks play, he can't play at all because he can't play in his own arena and he can't play in the Knicks arena. If the Nets make it to the finals, which they are favored, and they meet the Lakers or they meet the Clippers or they meet Golden State, he can't play in neither one of those games. None of them. So he's going to be out for the entire time. So I agree with what Sean Marks said so far is that, you're not going to be a part of the team until you can be a full participant. I need my star player there the entire time. I need him there the entire playoffs. And you got new players coming in. You need to gel with them. And it's hard. We seen the Lakers do it last year. It's hard to bring players in and here and there, and have them gel. I need you there the entire season. I need you there in practice. I need you there in games. I need you there for film study. I need you there on the flights where we're doing more film study. So if he's not there, man, we're gonna have to go ahead and trade you, man.
For real, man. And it's been a while since the vaccine came out, man. I don't know how much research you have to do, especially since you ain't been to none of the team stuff. So what you been doing every time?
I mean, and you gotta think about it. I mean, not NFL, but the NBA, they have team doctors. It's 30 of them. You can call any 30. You can call any 30 of those team doctors that the NBA, has trusted it. When you went to your injuries, you trusted your team doctor to go ahead and be like, hey, I think you should sit out for X amount of weeks. I think you should take X amount of medicine to, go ahead so you can be healed properly to come back into the game. When he was injured in Boston, if you don't really have trust in what the what am trying to say, in the Nets doctor, you can go back to Boston's doctor. You can go back to Cleveland's doctor. You can go back to Duke's doctor because you spent a lot of time with Duke medical staff's doctor because you only played 9 games at that point. So you was with them all the time trying to figure out, hey, how can I get back in? What can I do? What can I do so I can play more than 11 games my entire freshman year at Duke University? He had so many options to go back and talk to, and you could talk to every single one of them. Get a conclusive, idea of what the vaccine is, the pros and the cons of it from all the doctors. So I don't know what's taking him so long, but if I was the GM, I'd be a little tired of, Kyrie Irving in general.
Yeah, man, I agree with you. I'm being tired. And I know let's move on to the next stuff. I know you're tired of worrying about your team in the NFL, see if they're going to win or not. So the Lions and the Vikings, they squared off last week in week 5 in the NFL. And your Vikings escaped the close game, hitting a 54-yard field goal from Greg Joseph. On a scale of 1 to 10, how nervous were you? How does this make you feel so far throughout the season about your Vikings?
I wasn't nervous at all. I mean, to keep it a band with you, nervous, I was on a 0. I can say I was at a 0 for being nervous, and that's wholeheartedly. But when those Lions scored on that 2-point conversion, that's when I got highly upset. I mean, the Lions, they scored 11 points in 3 minutes and 17 seconds. We had them down multiple scores the entire second half. And the Vikings, they were scoreless in the third quarter. I mean, I'm not saying the Lions are terrible, but they are terrible. They have a good quarterback, but defense is suspect. We didn't get within the 40 line once, past the 40 line once in the third quarter. And I said last Thursday that, and last year, all the time when I talked about the Steelers, and I'm not going to keep bringing this up because I'm not going to talk down on the Steelers last year, and I got a lot of backlash for talking down on the Steelers, and I'm not going to, apply the same thing to my team. You got to beat the brakes off the teams that you're supposed to beat the brakes off of. And we voted on that assignment.
Hard. Hey, I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of nervous for y'all because the Lions have a tendency of, coming back in the fourth quarter this season so far, man. And it's just, I was nervous, and especially watching that Packers Bengals game with the missed field goals, and it was just like, okay,
Right.
And your kickers already missed a game-winning field goal this season, so I was just like, is it this chance for the Lions to steal one, man? It's just, wow. I was nervous for y'all, man, and I was expecting y'all to maybe lose because Dalvin Cook didn't play either. So, but Madison has really stepped up for y'all, and he looked very good so far this season.
Right. I believe he had 134 rushing yards that game.
Yeah, man. But I don't know, man. Y'all need to tighten up a little bit, don't y'all?
Yeah, I mean, once we get Dalvin Cook back, when we have Dalvin Cook back this week, I think, we'll be pretty good. And
he was back the week before, and y'all lost, didn't y'all?
Nah, we won. Unless that was, I believe so. Yeah, I believe we won.
I think y'all lost the week he came back.
No, actually, he's been out the past 2 weeks. I believe so.
Nah, he missed a week, then came back, then didn't come back.
I think that was earlier in the season.
Boy, it's only week 5. What you mean earlier in the season?
I think he was out for the Seahawks game, and then he was out for the Browns and the Lions game because he wasn't there for the Browns game.
No, he was because he only had like 30 rushing yards.
You're right. He had 30 rushing yards that game.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
Y'all honestly look better with Madison at the running back.
Whoa.
Look, let me finish. I don't know because Dalvin Cook's not 100%, healthy, but like when he gets in the game, he's putting up yards.
Right. I mean, Dalvin Cook's more of like a power back for us, but he's got some real speed to him too, and he's very elusive. But, yeah, I mean, Madison, he's really good. That speed back, gives us like a different kind of edge in the game, and I really like that. But I do not think we look better without Dalvin Cook. I mean, how you? That's like saying y'all look better with y'all backup running back without Chris McCaffrey.
Christian McCaffrey is better than Dalvin Cook, so that's not even arguing.
Top 5. They're both top 5 running backs, though.
Top 5.
Top 5. Yes.
Top 5.
Top 5. They're both top 5 running backs.
Both. I know CMC is, but
Dalvin Cook's the top 5 running back. Dalvin Cook's been in the top 2 in rushing yards, I believe, for the last 3 years. No, you're not gonna do my man like this.
Yeah, I'm just saying. He's definitely, I'd say top 7. I don't know about top 5.
I believe my man is top 5.
Moving on.
No. Don't move on. Don't move on. I'm about to make my point. He was number 2 in rushing yards last season.
Okay.
And then where is he at? He won top 5 the season before that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's when he got injured. He got injured because he only played 14 games and he was 10th. Healthy full season, he's a top 5 running back.
That's debatable. That's definitely debatable.
Okay, definitely debatable. We're gonna see because you know my man's put some work. My man's been putting.
I'm not saying he doesn't. I'm just not saying I don't believe he's top 5.
All right.
I mean, you got Derrick Henry,
Alvin Kamara, CMC.
Saquon, if he's healthy, is definitely a top 5 back.
Yeah.
Z definitely a top 5.
Don't know about that.
Offensive line, one of the best offensive lines in the game. Okay.
I don't know about
these last couple of years, but okay.
No, Zeke has had 2 down years in a row. I'm not putting somebody in the top 5 who's had 2 down years in a row. We were ready to write Zeke off after those 2 down years in a row. I'm not giving it to Zeke. I got to see more from Zeke this year. If Zeke makes a bounce back this year, he might come back into my top 8. But
wow. Top 8.
Zeke folded these last 2 years. Think about it. Last year, how much did we criticize Zeke? We said, "Oh, Zeke, you got to be the key. You got to be what makes his offense move." And Zeke did not step up to the assignment. And then that was 2020. Then 2019 is when he got that contract and he came back overweight. And he not technically overweight, but he looked a little bit plump. He looked a little bit more plump than he usually was. And it showed on the field, and he was not the same running back. So yeah, I'm not throwing Zeke in there.
Okay.
Dalvin Cook is that number 5. Nope, there's no other one.
I'm not putting him there.
Nobody else. I could give you Nick Chubb. If you want to put Nick Chubb there, I could give you Nick. Maybe I could give you Nick Chubb. I feel like they're neck and neck. Maybe I can give you Nick Chubb.
How many yards he put up against your Vikings the other week?
Nick Chubb? Yeah, maybe 100 yards.
Look it up. I'm pretty sure he had over 100.
He had 100, but I don't think it was 150. He had exactly 100.
Enough.
Exactly 100. I said maybe 100. He's 1 yard away from not getting 100.
Yeah.
That's why I said. That's why I said
top maybe. 7. Top 7.
Nah, he's top 5 back. You're tripping. You're tripping.
Well, since we know you're speaking of 5, let's go home and hit topic number 5. No pun intended. Pun intended. Westbrook, so far in the preseason, has been turnover king. And Russell Westbrook's first 2 games for the Lakers, he's had 15 turnovers and 43 minutes of playing time. When he was asked about it after the Suns game, Westbrook had this to say:
Is your turnover total any sort of indicator on that there is a learning process you're going through? And what's it been like for you to pick up Frank's offensive system?
It's fine. This is not the turnover stuff is on me, but good thing they don't count. So I turned that bitch over 15 times. Nobody can do nothing about it. It's all good. It's on me though. Easy fix though. Very easy. Just because timing. Guys getting used to my speed, my pace, my timing, where I'm at on the floor. Me just getting my timing back on passing. And not worry about it. I'd rather get them out now, and then, I'll be able to figure out and make the game easy, for everybody else around.
After hearing that, what do you think of Westbrook's play so far?
It's very Westbrook-esque. And, he has a lot of Westbrook, when you have a lot of usage, you have a lot of turnovers, and it's something common you've seen in point guards, that when I don't want to say back in the day, but the point guards that we see now are kind of different than what you would see from your traditional point guards. There we go. That's a good word. Traditional point guards. LeBron has a high turnover margin. CP3 high turnover margin. Steve Nash had a pretty high turnover margin. But these are all players that had the ball in their hand primarily a lot. Jason Kidd had a pretty high turnover ratio. So it's only because, the ball is in their hands so much. And Westbrook is used to having the ball in his hands so much and having to make every single play. But Westbrook, you don't have to do that anymore, man. You on the Lakers. You got LeBron James. You got Anthony Davis. You got Carmelo Anthony. You got people that can make plays. You got Taylor Horton-Tucker. You got Kendrick Nunn. These are all playmakers that you are surrounded by. You really don't. You gotta just do the little things to make stuff open. I'm about to take him, drive to the basket. Oh, you want to step over? Lob for AD, lob for Dwight Howard, hit AD in the corner, hit Kent Bazemore, all those kinds of things. And so just gotta lower the turnovers. You're playing with stars, so you ain't gotta really do all that. It's too many point guards on this floor. You got yourself, you got LeBron, and you got Rondo. Like it's a lot of y'all. So LeBron gonna have 3-4 turnovers. Russ gonna have 3-4 turnovers. Rondo gonna have 1-2 turnovers. We as a collectively, not just Westbrook, but collectively, everybody gotta cut down on those turnovers. Just because we know we don't really have to force. We don't really gotta force it to make something shake. But Westbrook, you got to do better. Turnovers were a big thing from last year, and I'm going to make sure, it's emphasized this year, and we need to get that together.
Yeah, man. Honestly, I'm not too worried about it. I think, like you said, you have to find their groove. It's the preseason, and I'd rather them have all these turnovers now, and then halfway through the regular season, or they get it off to a bad start of the season, and it's really hard to come back given that they are in the Western Conference with Golden State, the Clippers, Denver, and everybody else.
Don't get me started on Golden State.
Hey, man, I'm just saying. And you got to think, Russ has been to a couple of different squads the last couple of years, and usually, they have a team or a decent team around him, and he's just a new piece. But this Lakers team is like a first-year AAU team, dog. They made a whole new change, and it's a lot of different players, and they're learning how to play with each other. They're learning their play styles. Like you said, the speed, the pace of how everyone wants to play. So I'm not tripping. I'm not worried. And they also have LeBron James leading this team, so I know he's going to be in his ear on and off the court. How he feels like the team should play. So I'm not even tripping.
I like the approach that he took, in that press conference, is that's on me, he took that blame. He said, that's on me, and timing, it's a very important in basketball, if my corner man starts to relocate to the corner before I start my drive, then, by the time he gets there, he's just going to be sitting there waiting on me instead of him moving while I'm moving. So it's like a pulley system. And that's what he means by timing. Everything on the offensive end and on the defensive end, you want it to be like a pulley system, As I move, the rest of the offense or the rest of the defense moves with me to have, one fluent offense. So I completely understand him on the timing. And I understand timing is going to take some time. And that's okay, but we trying to win a championship here. So I need us to pick the pace up,
I ain't know you was on the team. Aren't you ball boy? You get the mop, the sweat spots, bro.
Third string point guard, boy.
Third string.
Yeah.
More like
that means, with Rondo and Westbrook and Taylor Horton-Tucker and Kendrick Nunn, and then LeBron get hurt, then that's when I step up. Then that's when I come in.
Yeah, boy, this ain't my career, boy. This is my life. This is real life.
And I'm gonna go out there. I'm dropping 20.
Yeah, 20 turnovers. Then we're talking about you after the game.
No. I ain't. Look, if Frank leave me out there and let me get 20 turnovers, we got a box after the game. Because why did you let me get 20 turnovers? That's 3. That's when I need to hear the come on.
I mean, if all the players you named is out, he ain't got no choice but to leave you in.
Nah, I can't play 48 minutes. I ain't good for that.
Bubble.
Boy was going through it. But all right, hey, moving on to may not really be a little too early, man. But we're gonna move on to the Eagles and their comeback win from down 12 against your Carolina Panthers. Now, Sean, your Panthers allowed the late game comeback from the Eagles, which resulted in you guys dropping 2 games in a row. How did you feel? How do you feel after the game? And what could your team have done better?
Man, let me tell you right now, I was watching that fourth quarter like this. I was like, boy, ain't no way, boy. Boy, ain't no way. Then when they bought the punt, I was like, boy, ain't no way. We are folding right now. I was highly upset watching that game. And like the main issue I have is play calling, man. They showed a stat in the third quarter saying that the Panthers offense ranked second in the first half and 29th in the second half, which means we coming out in the second half like you on these predictions, bro. Flatline, no life. Yeah,
it's okay.
No life.
It's okay. I got something for
you. Offensive line's been our issue for a couple of years. That's always going to be a trending topic with the Panthers. I guess they don't care about protection. Sam has to get better at reading defenses. He's still kind of young. We need to run the ball more, keep the defense guessing. Robbie Anderson said after the game in the interview, like some of these Eagles corners knew what to play where, or based on formation on where they was lined up. So they're not disguising things well. They're not keeping the defense guessing. They need to run the ball more. It helps Sam Darnold out, make things a little bit easier for him. And the offense is just too predictable. If you already know what play they're about to run, this is based off formation. Yeah, man, run the ball more, keep the defense guessing, make things simpler for Sam Darnold. I do believe CMC might be back this week. Hopefully, Chuba did look good. But dude, our offensive line is basura. And that's trash in Spanish.
Offensive line, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Offensive line, to me, it's not your problem, man. When I was the coach at the women's club basketball team at Winston-Salem State University, I always told them, because we was always a little behind. I always told them, it's not about how you start. It's about how you finish. When I was a practice player with the women's club basketball team, not women's club basketball, with the women's basketball team for Winston-Salem State, I would talk with head coach Lamont all the time about how their team could get a better start in the third quarter, because in the third quarter is when they would let teams make a comeback, or they would lose the game that they was already in, and then they'd be in the fourth quarter trying to make that comeback. The Panthers do the exact same thing. They come out in the third quarter and their whole offense, defense is flatline. But then when you guys get to the fourth quarter, you guys are back alive. You guys got the EKGs. Clear. Because in 5 games, in the third quarter, you guys total 7 points. 1 touchdown. In the fourth quarter, guess how many points you guys total? I'll let you get a guess in.
Fourth quarter, I would say 14 because we scored 14 against the Cowboys in the fourth quarter.
You guys totaled 39 points in the fourth quarter. So exactly, and that is primarily what has you guys at 3-2. if you guys have a one bad fourth quarter, then you guys are going to lose that game because 9 times out of 10, based on your schedule, you have a pretty tough schedule. So you're going to be playing a pretty good team, and they're going to score in that third quarter and force you guys to punt the ball because you guys' offense in the third quarter is terrible. Just gonna make it plain. Total in the third quarter, you guys have had 16 total drives. Half of those have ended on a punt. You guys scored 1 touchdown. Sam has thrown 4 interceptions in the third quarter. You guys have made 2 field goals, and I don't really want to count those because both of those, they started in the third quarter, and then they ended in the fourth quarter. Then you guys have 2 missed field goals. One was blocked, and one was the 54-yard missed field goal by Greg Zerlin. I mean, that third quarter, it's really killing you guys. You guys are gonna have to find a way to come out and get some offense going. I mean, you got to hit your stars. You got to hit the people that you're paying the big bucks to. Robbie Anderson, DJ Moore, Christian McCaffrey. You got to get the ball to your playmakers. If you're not getting the ball to your playmakers, then you're gonna do what you did half the time. You're gonna punt the ball, or you're gonna have some turnovers. You guys have to hit. You guys got to hit the star players. You guys got to move the chains. If you're not moving the sticks, then you're giving the ball back.
Yeah, man. Robbie also said in the interview, like, they're just sitting on routes, and he was just like, can we run a double move? It was open every time, but Sam wasn't making the right reads, and he have enough time in the pocket to do the things that they could have done until we went in the game against the Eagles. So hopefully, they bounce back. And this upcoming week.
You ain't bouncing back this week. I hate it for you. Hey, you know what? We already getting talking our stuff. So let's go ahead and let's hit this one. Game of the week, at least for me and Sean, is the Panthers versus the Vikings. As you guys know, I'm a Vikings fan, so my Vikings, they will travel to Charlotte to hand the Panthers their 3rd loss in a row. Obviously, my co-host Sean, he thinks they're going to have their bounce back game against us. Sean, what do you think the Panthers need to do to get the win?
First of all, don't ever disrespect us preparing a question like that. Talking about 3rd loss in a row. If anything, you got to get your 4th loss in prediction. So keep it up, dog.
Bounce back week.
Hey, man, like I said, we've been really good so far in the run, except for that one game against the Cowboys. So I don't know if Dalvin Cook's going to play or is going to be Madison at the running back, but I believe we can shut them down and force our own Cousins to throw the ball and get some pressure in his face. Better play calling for 4 quarters of the game, not 3, not 2. Need to see great play calling. Like I said, run the ball more, keep the defense guessing, make things easier for Sam Darnold. They gave the ball to Chuba Hubbard a little more last week against the Eagles in the run, in the pass, and they was able to keep the chains moving, keep things going. And also when they get in the opponent's side of the field, get in the red zone. And when you get in the red zone, convert. And I believe if we do those things, we'll be back on track and send them Vikings boys home with an L. But you already knew that, though.
Scott. So I say the same thing every week for my team. Keep the game close, establish the run game. We got to run the pat. We got to run to get our open targets down the field. Win the third quarter. I already said in the last segment when we talked about the Eagles and the Panthers, you guys are terrible in the third quarter. If we could keep the game close and win the third quarter, I have very big trust in my team to hold you guys to a low score in the fourth quarter, because on average we are holding teams to 4.5 points in the fourth quarter. So if we can keep the game close, win in the third quarter, I have faith in our team to go ahead and seal it up, because we played the Cardinals. We only allowed them to get a field goal in the fourth quarter. We held the Seahawks scoreless in the third quarter, and we held the Browns to 3 points in the fourth quarter. We've held some high octane offenses in the third quarter, so I believe that we can hold you guys to a low score in the third quarter. I'm not third quarter, fourth quarter.
You're going to have to see because we have a pretty good run defense. So if y'all can't get the run going, then let's see how Kirk can add a ball out for 4 quarters.
I mean, Kirk Cousins, according to Pro Football Focus, he's one of the highest graded quarterbacks right now. So I have faith in him. And I think it was going into week 4, he was the highest graded quarterback with a clean pocket, throwing from a clean pocket. And he hasn't even been sacked that many times this season. Let me look at it.
I mean, the Panthers are out there in sacks.
I mean, he's only had 10 sacks in the season, so he's getting sacked twice a game. So, I like our team's protection, and it's like we played against 2 former two former number 1 overall picks in Myles Garrett and Jadeveon Clowney, and they had trouble getting to Kirk Cousins. The Cardinals had trouble getting to Kirk Cousins. So, I mean, we played good defense before. So I have faith in us to protect our quarterback and to give him time to throw from the pocket.
Yeah, man, I'm saying Carolina's tied with the Browns for 16 sacks, and it's gonna be interesting.
If y'all are tied with the Browns for 16 sacks, then I am 100% not even worried anymore. Because, like I said, the Browns had trouble getting to Kirk Cousins. He was sacked twice that game.
Yeah, but they don't blitz as much as Panthers does. They send a lot of different blitz packages. They're gonna switch it up. They're gonna
because you gotta think about who they have on that line. When you have Jadeveon Clowney and you have Myles Garrett, do you really need to send a lot of blitzes?
I mean, you don't, but Panthers a little bit different. It's a little different.
It is a little different, but I'm saying if those 2 highly skilled players, if my guards and my tackles can contain them with enough time to give Kirk Cousins, to get the ball out, then I feel good about that. A blitz may come, but that's why we got Madison, Dalvin Cook, and we can hit some checkdowns. So I can live with that. You guys get him a little blitz. You guys can get, y'all 2 sacks in, 3 sacks in. That's fine, as long as, it's not high octane sacks. If y'all start getting 5, 6, 7, that's when I'll start having a problem with it.
We'll see. As Panthers Nation say, keep pounding, and we will. Moving on to the Browns, who we were just talking about a second ago with their pass rush. The Browns set on to take the undefeated Arizona Cardinals. The Browns are the 4th defensive team in the NFL in total yards allowed per game, while the Cardinals offense ranks 5th overall in total yards per game. The Browns are favored to win this game according to ESPN. Mark, who are you taking to win this game between the NFC and the AFC?
No doubt I'm taking the Cardinals, man. Kyler Murray, from year 2 to year 3, that from what it's looking like so far, that leap is, it's almost a bigger leap than what Josh Allen had from last year to the year before last. So, and he is, Jesus Christ. I mean, Baker's leap it's sort of suspect, to be honest with you. I mean, can he play in a shootout? Yeah, we've seen him play in a shootout before. Week 1, 30 lost 33-29 to the Chiefs. Week 5, he lost 42-47 to the Chargers. But the thing is, can he finish games? And that's what I haven't seen from Baker yet. In the Chargers game, they got the ball, I think, with like a minute left on the clock, and they had to drive the ball down the field, and he went check down. And that's how they lost the game. He didn't really push the ball down the field. And his ability to finish games and the ability of the 2 quarterbacks is really what is the difference between Kyler Murray and the Cardinals being 5-0 and Baker Mayfield and the Browns being 3-2. I honestly think if you swap these quarterbacks around, Kyler Murray would still be 5-0 on the Browns and Baker Mayfield would still be 3-2 on the Cardinals because It's about your level of quarterback play and how they can finish games. Side by side, what were you going to say?
Baker is dealing with it. I think he's torn something in his shoulder, his non-throwing shoulder. So he's dealing with that as well. So you have to take that and accountability of how he's been playing these last couple of weeks.
That's very interesting, man. But
I'm rocking with you though on this one. I think the Cardinals just have too much, man. The way
I think
Kyle's playing, like I said, if you have a run game, a consistent run game with a mobile quarterback, it's going to be really hard to stop that offense. And it's been really hard for defense to slow down the Cardinals offense so far this season. And I don't see the Browns doing that.
Yeah, man. It's really tough, man. And you talked about, the throwing shoulder issue for Baker Mayfield. I mean, we're going to week 6 now, I think almost everybody's playing with an injury because it's football. Football is it's a high contact sport. The body is not meant to take this kind of contact, running into each other at full speeds and stuff like that. So I think at this point, everybody's got to be playing with some kind of injury.
Yeah, but a torn ligament though in your shoulder.
I mean, I was still critical on Kyler Murray last year, and Kyler Murray was not the same since he had that since he got tackled onto his throwing shoulder. I think that was like early, maybe week 5, week 6. I'm not too sure off the top of my head. I mean, but I still was critical on Kyler Murray because if you're going to be out there, then that means you're healthy enough to get the job done. If you're going to be healthy enough to get the job done, I'm still going to hold you to that same standard because Baker, he can't afford to be injured right now. This is his contract year. You got to go out there and you got to ball. And this is the game. He's had a couple games to show it, but this is the game that he needs so the doubters can stop saying, "Oh, Baker, I'm not sure about him. Oh, the Browns, they're right not to pay him." Because, I'm an advocate for everybody getting paid. I'm an advocate for everybody creating general wealth. And especially with the way the quarterbacks are getting paid now, if Baker has a stellar year, say if Baker was 5-0, we'd be talking about Baker's going to be the highest paid quarterback coming out because he has such a hot start. But if Baker doesn't get this team to the playoffs, if they don't make it if they don't even make it to the second round of the playoffs, then Baker is going to be subject to not get paid as much as he potentially could be getting paid. Because Kyler Murray, 5-0 right now, he's going to get paid. He's going to get paid. I mean, look, all his stats are, in the top 10 in the NFL amongst quarterbacks. He's 6th in passing yards, 9th in touchdowns. He's 45th in interceptions, but that's good. You want to be almost at the bottom of interceptions. He's tied for 3rd in yards per throw. He's almost throwing 10 yards for every throw. So he's moving the sticks every time. He's finna get paid. Baker's finna get paid, but it's not gonna be, that 40 a year that Dak is getting. He's probably gonna hit a contract around that 20-25 a year. But he has that potential to hit that 30, 40, 50 a year kind of range.
I agree. But yeah, Cardinals it's gonna be a close game, but I think the Cardinals gonna pull it out.
Oh yeah, I think the Cardinals are gonna pull it out. Honestly, I'm curious to see how the Cardinals offense is gonna handle Jadeveon Clowney and Myles Garrett.
Yes, that's gonna be interesting to see.
Yeah, but moving on, second to last topic of the day before we're done with you guys. And I want to say thank you to the anonymous person who just said they're loving the cast. Appreciate you. The next topic is Ben Simmons. He has finally returned to practice. Earlier, Ben Simmons, he demanded a trade from the Sixers organization and lost $1 million in fines before he returned to the Sixers organization. Now, Sean, how long do you think Ben Simmons will last in the organization?
maybe a month, no longer than 2. I mean, there's kind of a disconnect between him and the organization and the head coach and his teammates at the moment. So I don't think the organization wants to keep him there that long to where it can affect the team's chemistry and their chances of, winning and making the playoffs. So I believe they're going to try to find something that can work for both sides, or maybe just something where they can feel like they're not losing as much as they will be receiving if they do trade them. But this is kind of tough because Embiid's come out and say how he's felt about how what Ben Simmons says Doc Rivers have. So I know his teammates are definitely not vibing with him right now. It's going to be hard to translate on the court and win games if there's a lot of tension. If you don't want to even look at them or talk to your teammate. And basketball, you have to consistently communicate and put differences to the side. And I know this is a big difference to put to the side when you don't want to be on the team. It kind of reminds me of the James Harden thing a couple years ago when he wanted out of Houston. So hopefully no longer than a month. If it goes to 2 months, the organization might be in trouble of, not making the playoffs, given that they're losing a player that they built the organization around. So,
right. I agree with you. Being optimistic, I said maybe 2 months. Being a realist, I think is going to be the rest of the season. Since June 20th, when the Sixers lost Game 7 to the Hawks in the conference semifinals, they had been shopping for Ben Simmons. That's 116 days between June 20th and today, and no trade was made. I mean, that's 116 days of the Sixers GM Elton Brand picking up the phone call, like, hey, this is Sixers GM Elton Brand. I'm looking to try to make a trade with Ben Simmons. Click, because in 116 days you can't make a trade. Like that means essentially nobody wants Ben Simmons. Nobody wants a 6'10" player who wants to be a point guard, but he won't shoot the three. And he's a 59.7 career free throw shooter. I mean, defense is his one upside that he has going for him right now. But I mean, he's a point guard, and essentially he's gonna, if he stays on his Sixer team for the rest of the season, he's gonna end up playing a limited role.
Yeah. But it's still hurting the team in a sense, because if his role is limited, I don't know who did backup point guard. Maybe Maxi's going to get a lot of playing time at the point guard position. Is George Hill still there?
I don't think so. I think he was there on a 1-year deal or the rest of. I think he was a rest of the season deal kind of thing.
Yeah, so I don't know who that other backup point guard is going to be besides Maxey, who just came in a year ago. So
right, all right. So we got a minute left. So before we go, last topic. Just tell me who you got between the Bills and the Titans.
Bills. Defense is too good.
I went with the Bills, but I didn't say defense was too good. I said injuries will play a big key in it because the Titans do have a lot of injuries.
Yeah, defense ranks first in turnovers, fifth in sacks, and they rank first in yards allowed per game. So,
right. So you guys heard it here. Me and Nashan, we're both going with the Bills. If you guys follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at JWall Sports. Later on today, we will be dropping our predictions for Week 6. Currently, Nashan, he is up 5 games on me. So the comeback isn't impossible. I'm losing the week to week, but if I can come back, I can get that overall. So follow us to see that. Follow us on YouTube, Twitter. I already said Twitter. Follow us on YouTube at JWall Sports. Subscribe, hit the like button, comment, hit the notification bell. Keep rocking with us. Keep, supporting us. We appreciate you guys so much. And we out.
Yeah.